Welcome to Film on Tape, a free audio library for creatives in film and television. My name is Misha Calvert, and I've worked as an actor, writer, director, and producer for many decades. I had so many questions when I was first getting started in New York, and I just wanted fast, free answers. That is what this library is for. The work that you do as a creative is so important. I really hope that this library is going to help get your work out there. Film on Tape is sponsored by Vermilion, a coaching and educational company for creatives. You can learn more at clubvermilion.com. We're going to talk today about procrastination. Do you procrastinate? I bet you procrastinate about at least one really important thing. I do too. It's okay. But if you can understand procrastination and why you do it, we just might be able to kick that habit for good. Most people throw away time because they're not aware of its passage. If they knew what was happening, they would not throw away time. But we're not aware of it. We dissociate. We black out from the passage of time. We pretend it's not happening. That's the only reason, really, that we would allow it to happen, because for the vast majority of us, you will never have more potential energy than today. Your body is disintegrating. Your brain is decaying. And our brains also tend toward the negative. They tend to pick up negative memories and associations in order to protect us from harm. So by the end of our life, there's a very good reason why old people are grumpy, because we tend to over-rotate on the negative. So you're never going to be more optimistic than today. You have more strength and more health, probably, potential strength and health today than you ever will again in your life. More inspiration and openness. More community and more friendships. And this might resonate with my fellow ladies. You're probably not going to be more beautiful in your life than you are today. You are so beautiful today. And as we age, I think aging is beautiful, but in terms of, I'm using quotes, beautiful and physical beauty standards as represented in conventional society, today is quite possibly your most beautiful day of your life. So when you start to think of it like that, of just the natural progression of time, again, caveat, aging is beautiful, maturity is beautiful, wisdom is beautiful, but look, I'm in my middle age now, and my body is starting to show me what happens as we grow older. And you better believe I wish I had the body of my 20s. Oh my Lord. Just the amount of injuries that I'm picking up over doing nothing, like lifting a freaking chair. So if I knew then what I know now, oh my God, I would have wasted no time. I would have just been freaking Speedy Gonzalez with my goals. I would have attacked Genghis freaking Khan with my dreams. And so with that knowledge, all I can do is attack now. This shifts the conversation, the idea that we're losing time by default. It shifts the conversation from woe is me to now or never. And that's a very empowered place to start from. Procrastination is complex. It's not just, oh, I suck, I'm lazy, I don't have discipline. No. First of all, there's a whole lot of other schemas and mind modeling going on, like what I just said, where we feel that we're invincible. We feel that we're eternal. And in a way, I think we are. Like on a spiritual level, sure, we are. But as a result, we don't feel the passage of time. And you know what else procrastination does? There's a very real neural reason for procrastinating, a neuroscience reason for procrastinating, which is that our brain wants us to keep things the same. It wants to preserve the status quo because the brain knows what has kept us alive until now. The status quo has kept us alive with the way that we've always done things. And trying something new is scary The brain optimizes for keeping things the same because it would rather keep us alive and know where we're at than try something new and accidentally kill us or hurt us or put us in a mentally unsafe situation. So procrastination is actually a very neurally valid, psychologically, it's a very valid coping mechanism. But it's not going to make us happy. It's not going to make our lives better. It's just going to keep us alive. And for me, I would rather have quality of life than quantity. Yeah, I really just said that. So because the brain hates uncertainty, you can, once you know that and understand this mental block, literally, you can work with it and you can change it. One approach to transforming your brain's desire to remain unchanged is to remove the uncertainty. What does that mean? Mentally, you lay out the possible scenarios and worst case scenario for the thing that you're procrastinating against. You just mind map all of the potential outcomes, including and especially the worst case scenario. That's going to give you strategies for moving forward no matter which way it goes. Mind modeling is very valuable and very effective because it soothes your brain and it kind of directly contradicts that knee-jerk reaction of, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to do it. So mind model all the outcomes and see if that doesn't ease your anxiety a bit. You can do this with a friend, a lover. You can do it by yourself. You can do it in a journal, out loud, voice note while you're walking to yourself. There's so many different ways to mind model it. Just do it or write it out and see how you feel afterwards. Another approach to soothing your anxious brain is to create an action plan that is so robust that you can essentially control the outcome. So let's say you're procrastinating on contacting a whole bunch of casting directors and announcing your presence, letting them know you exist. This is probably one of the number one things that people tell me they procrastinate on, by the way. They have all the names and emails. They just can't seem to find the time to sit down and actually send the emails. Well, guess what? It has nothing to do with finding the time because the 35 minutes you spent on Reels scrolling, you could have sent every single one of those emails. But so it's not about time. It's about the fear and the emotional and mental blocks of doing it. So if you create an action plan that addresses the fear, like let's say the fear is, I'm scared that none of them are going to reply. And if one does reply, they're going to be mean about it and tell me not to bother them. Okay. So your action plan is two-part with that, actually. It's, I'm going to contact, instead of contacting 30 casting directors, I'm going to contact 300 casting directors. I'm going to find every single casting director's email that's on IMDb, and I'm going to tell all of them that I exist. And I guarantee at least one of them is going to write back and say, oh, great to meet you. Nice materials. I'll check out your work. They might even call you in. At 300, I mean, you have an unfair advantage at that point. You have an unfair advantage over other actors because you have gone above and beyond to ensure that you will get some sort of positive result. And then if you're worried about at least one of them being an asshole, great, well, you have your friend there next to you and maybe they're doing a scary thing too. And when each other gets rejected, you can be right there to talk shit to the computer and make each other feel better, right? So create the support to help you get through the possible negative response that you might get. And chances are your anxiety is going to calm down enough for you to do the thing. I find it really helpful to create a plan that is so comprehensive that all my energy goes to simply executing the plan. And I don't have any energy left for an emotional response. Like all of my focus is on, oh shit, this plan is so big that it's going to take everything I've got just to be able to get through this plan by the deadline I've set for myself. I don't have any time to be afraid. If I'm like, no, I have to email 300 casting directors between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. today, and that is my mission. And if I'm really focusing on that, I don't have time to be scared. I actually don't have time to worry about any of the responses, even the positive ones. I'll worry about that tomorrow. For now, I just have to get through the goal. So let's talk about fear for a second with procrastination, because there's different kinds of fear. There's the fear of it not working, right? The example that we just laid out, I email casting directors and I hear nothing. So then what comes up for you might be failure, rejection, disappointment, despair. There's also the fear that it might work. Like, what if half of those casting directors get back to you and want to schedule you for an audition? That might run through your head of like, what if this is wildly successful?
I am so excited to tell you that I'm launching a brand new slate of classes that are incredibly helpful on my website. Some of the classes include on-camera acting technique and how to self-produce your own film, actor self-care, which is something that nobody talks about, and how to write a feature film in 10 days, which I'm going to teach you how I did it and how you can do it too. And believe me when I say I poured my heart into these courses. Go to clubvermillion.com. I am so excited about this website. I can't wait to work with you.
So what comes up for you then? It might be overwhelm. It might require a big life change. Oh my God, I'm going to have to move to LA and then leave all my friends behind in New York. And right. A big responsibility. You might lose your freedom or your sense of freedom. So we can be afraid that not only that it might not work, but that it actually might work too. We can also be afraid that we don't know what's going to happen. It's just an unknown. So sending all those emails might create chaos. It might be a potential disaster. It might get me blacklisted. I mean, how many times have I sat down to do something I'm like, irrationally, oh man, sending that text might get me blacklisted from the industry. Have you ever thought that of just like, it's just so irrational, the depths to which you're afraid of something, the destruction that you think it might cause? We also don't know if it's going to leave us isolated or alone. There's a really good argument for every fear being ultimately the fear of being alone, even the fear of death. That everything that we're anxious about is really, when you carve it down and down and down, it's an anxiety about being abandoned and being alone. That's why the approach of having emotional support there with you, or like right there accessible at the touch of a dial or whatever, as you're doing something that you've been procrastinating on, that can be really helpful. Even right now, like I'm in the podcast studio and I have probably recorded in half the time that I normally do. I think because I have one of my interns here helping me feel like, oh, maybe that wasn't that bad what I just said. Maybe, my voice sounds okay or whatever. So that kind of emotional support can really mitigate against the propensity for procrastination. What does that look like? It could look like an accountability partner, an accountability group, talking with your friend or your roommate about the thing that you're procrastinating on, the deeper issue behind it. It could be hiring a coach. Excellent idea. I have a coach, by the way. He's changed my life. He's not cheap, and yet he's made me probably 10 times what I've paid him due to the strategies that he uses in our sessions. So coaches are freaking great. You can also have a therapist or a healer standing by to help you process. And you can use social outings and like friend outings as a way to springboard the motivation to do the thing that you're procrastinating on. I mean, maybe everyone in that friend group is also procrastinating on the exact same thing. And then you can all schedule the day to sit down and do the thing that you're all avoiding. And finally, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that procrastination can come up just because it's bringing up an emotion that we don't want to deal with. So we know that it's going to bring up, for instance, I think I haven't done my taxes yet. And I've been putting them off because it's going to bring up for me, let's see, doing my taxes is going to bring up a sense of overwhelm. Maybe some humiliation. It's going to bring up probably some frustration. And you know what? Now that I'm digging, It's going to bring up a sense that I'm wasting a day when I should be on the hamster wheel trying to go, make money. And every day that I'm not hyper-focused on moving my business forward, whether it's Vermilion or my filmmaking, then I feel like a failure. Whoa, that's crazy that I just figured that out. I'm putting off my taxes because I feel like a day where I'm not hustling is a day that I'm a failure. And that's why I haven't done them yet. That's crazy. So really, in order to get over the hump of procrastination on my taxes, I need to address the fact that baseline, I feel like a failure, low key. It's not like 100%, but I a little bit feel like a failure just by existing. And unless I do this extraordinary action, trying to move my career forward, I'm like a loser. That's what's playing in my head in the background. And that is why I haven't sat down to do my taxes, because that would feel like time off. That's insane. But if you dig and you look at what's really down there with the procrastination, you'll probably find something insane as well. Because procrastination is not logical. It's emotional. If you've done the deep work and you figured out why you're actually procrastinating, here's some like cheap and dirty tricks to kind of jumpstart the engine. First of all, you need 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep is probably going to fire up your engine and you're going to be able to do the thing you've been putting off. If you didn't get 8 hours of sleep, or even if you did, a nap is a game changer. And I talk about this in the how to add 2 hours to your day episode, which is really good. It was early on, so check out if you haven't listened yet. A nap is going to reset, I find, 20 to 50% of the energy lost up until the point of nap. You can restore 20 to 50% of your energy for the day. That's crazy. So I love naps. They really help. Try no phone until you've done the hardest thing of your day first. If you start with phone, and especially if you start with social media of any kind, you're probably going to put off the hard thing, maybe even indefinitely. And it just you won't even touch it that day. So no phone until you've done one extremely hard thing of your day first. Get it out of the way. It's called Eat the Frog. And I find it, basically I've arranged my whole life around this concept, and my life has changed dramatically as a result. On the topic of social media, it's crack. And I know this is not PC, but just it's kind of funny. So this is how I remember it. Be a crack dealer and not a crack user. So don't get lost in the scroll. Post and then delete. Post and delete the app. It's fine to post. We're all just making art around here. But then try not to consume. Just produce, consume. Deal the crack, don't use it. Now, if you know anything about flow state, really helpful for finishing something that you've been putting off. Because studies show that if you're in a flow state, which is a brain state, you can be up to 500% more productive than your baseline. 500% from being in a flow state, that's crazy. That's like superhuman. So if you can, set yourself up to get into a flow state and then let yourself go and rip through that task, you'll probably finish it in a lot shorter time than normal. By the way, I get into flow states with emails, with cleaning, ironically with getting my taxes done. So just set yourself up for the flow state and let the flow take over. Another tip is to delegate what you hate. So if you're procrastinating because it's just something that you shouldn't have to deal with and you know that there's other people who can do it for you, just have them do it. And I know there's some amount of privilege with that, but if you don't want to clean because it's your kid's job to clean the house, make the kids clean the house. You don't have to do everything. So delegate what you hate. Oh, touch it once on email. This one's really good. CEO taught this to me. I see an email come in. The time it takes for me to pause, think about it later, come back to it. Maybe I don't want to deal with it, so I come back 2, 3, 4 times. No, you see the email come in. If you can answer right then and there, you answer right then and there. Touch it once. It comes in, you answer, you never think about it again. It's really changed my email hygiene, and I'm just so much faster with getting through my emails now. That said, I do have, this is going to make you want to cry. I have 19,755 unread emails on my app. So maybe I didn't touch it once. Maybe there's a few I didn't touch at all. Okay, your final tip is to set up systems to preserve your time and mental energy so that you don't have to think about things. You know, if you had to think about brushing your teeth every time you brush your teeth, you'd probably procrastinate brushing your teeth. You might not even do it like some days at all, but you don't have to think about it. You have a system for it. So I don't know, Maryam, what are some other systems what do you procrastinate on?
Work that doesn't have a deadline.
Okay. If you procrastinate on work that doesn't have a deadline, for example, what if you set up a deadline for yourself, an artificial deadline with maybe a creative partner or a business partner, or even like you can say to a friend, okay, we're going out to dinner, but we can't go to dinner until I finish this thing. And so you create those systems to set yourself up, to give yourself whatever you need. It's probably different person to person, but you don't want to have to create the system as you go. And you also don't want to have to dedicate mental energy to the parameters or to thinking about the thing. You just want to not think about the thing and do the thing. So action over thought in many cases. I procrastinated coming to the podcast studio today, and then finally I set it up because I had my beautiful, lovely intern here to be like, hey, let's go to the studio. I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. So thank you for tuning in with me on this chat about procrastination. I hope you feel motivated now. I hope you feel excited to go and do the thing that you've been putting off. And send me a DM if this helped at all. No one ever DMs me about the podcast. I don't know if you listen. No, I do know a lot of people listen, but I want to hear if it's helping you. So please send me a DM. Let me know if this helped you unprocrastinate and actually get something done, and tell me what it is that you got done, because I want to celebrate with you. Thanks so much. See you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. If you like the way that I approach the industry, check out our other classes, consulting, and mentorship at clubvermilion.com. Vermilion is a home for artists and those looking to expand creatively. Whether you're an actor, a film professional, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, we'll help you find your voice and hone your skills to thrive in any market at any scale. You can schedule a free phone consultation at clubvermilion.com.